The Food and Drug Administration has an official term for when a food company quietly substitutes a cheaper ingredient for the one you think you are buying. They call it economically motivated adulteration. That is a regulatory term. It means food fraud. In April of this year, the FDA released its latest testing results on honey. They found that 4% of the samples they tested contained undeclared sweeteners, things like corn syrup and cane syrup, added to honey and not listed on the label. In previous rounds of testing, the rate was as high as 10%. Honey is not the only item on the FDA's watch list. Olive oil, Parmesan cheese, maple syrup, spices. These are all categories the FDA has identified as vulnerable to what they call economically motivated adulteration. But here is the part that matters most for households that do the weekly grocery shop. Not all of the changes in your pantry are fraud. Some of them are perfectly legal. A company can reformulate a product, swap out an ingredient, change a label, and as long as the new label is accurate, everything is above board. The problem is that most shoppers never notice the label changed. Today I am walking through 12 common pantry staples where the recipes, the ingredients, or the labeling have quietly shifted, sometimes dramatically. Some of these changes happened decades ago. Some happened in the last few years. All of them are documented, and all of them show up if you know where to look on the label. Every claim in this video is sourced. Every source is linked in the description. This is not a video about blaming anyone. This is a video about reading your pantry with fresh eyes. Let us begin with number 12. Number 12, flavored instant oatmeal packets. Plain rolled oats contain roughly 1 gram of naturally occurring sugar per serving. That is it, 1 gram. But pick up a packet of flavored instant oatmeal, the kind with maple and brown sugar, apples and cinnamon, or peaches and cream, and you will find somewhere between 10 and 12 grams of added sugar per single serving packet. That is according to the United States Department of Agriculture's Food Data Central database. To put that in perspective, a packet of flavored instant oatmeal can contain nearly as much added sugar as a small candy bar. The oats themselves are fine. It is what gets added to them in the flavoring process that changes the nutritional picture entirely. The fix here is simple, and it saves money too. Buy plain rolled oats or plain instant oats and add your own flavoring. A drizzle of honey, a handful of berries, a half teaspoon of cinnamon. You control the sugar. And plain oats cost significantly less per serving than the flavored packets. A large canister of plain oats runs $3 to $5 and provides roughly 30 servings. A box of flavored packets gives you 8 to 10 servings for roughly the same price. You are paying a premium for added sugar and artificial flavoring. The oats themselves are exactly the same oats. This is one of the easiest label swaps in the entire grocery store, and one of the most financially meaningful over the course of a year. Number 11, store-brand pancake syrup. Pick up a bottle of store-brand pancake syrup and read the first ingredient. In most cases, it is corn syrup. The second ingredient is usually high fructose corn syrup, then water, then artificial flavoring, then caramel color. There is no maple in it, not a drop. And the product legally cannot use the word maple in its name if it contains no maple syrup. Now compare that to a bottle of pure maple syrup. The ingredient list reads, organic maple syrup, 1 ingredient, nothing else. The price difference is real. Pure maple syrup costs more per ounce. But the product difference is also real. One is boiled tree sap with a complex natural flavor. The other is corn syrup with artificial flavoring designed to approximate that flavor. Neither is unsafe, but they are not the same product, and the labels will tell you that if you read them. Number 10, flavored coffee creamers. Turn a bottle of flavored coffee creamer around and read the first 3 ingredients. In many popular brands, they are water, sugar, and vegetable oil. Often palm kernel oil or partially hydrogenated soybean oil. The word cream does not appear at the top of the list. In some products, it does not appear at all. The name says creamer. The packaging shows a splash of cream, but the product is primarily water, sugar, and oil with flavoring. This is not illegal. The label is accurate, but the word creamer creates an expectation that the ingredients do not always match. And here is the part that adds up quietly. Many households use flavored creamer 2 to 3 times per day at roughly 35 calories per tablespoon, with a significant portion of those calories coming from sugar and vegetable oil. The daily intake adds up faster than most people track. Over a week, a heavy creamer user can consume an additional 500 to 700 calories just from their coffee additive. If you want cream in your coffee, heavy cream or half and half will give you that. A tablespoon of real cream has about 50 calories, and the ingredient list is just cream. It costs less per ounce than most flavored creamers. and the flavor is clean, honest dairy with nothing else added. The choice is yours, but the label comparison is worth making at least once. Number 9. Campbell's Condensed Soups. A can of standard Campbell's condensed cream of mushroom soup contains approximately 860 milligrams of sodium per serving as prepared. A single can contains about 2 servings, so if you eat the whole can, that is roughly 1,700 milligrams of sodium in one sitting. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 2,300 milligrams per day, with an ideal limit of 1,500. One can of condensed soup can take you to or past that daily ceiling by itself. Campbell's does offer reduced sodium versions, and their ingredient lists have evolved over the years. But the standard formula has carried high sodium levels for decades, and unless you are checking the nutrition panel, you may not realize just how concentrated it is. Here's a practical tip. When you turn the can around, look at the serving size first. Many canned soups list nutritional information for a single serving, which is typically half the can. Most people eat the whole can. That means whatever number you see on the nutrition panel, double it to get the actual intake. This is not deceptive. It is standard FDA labeling practice, but it catches people by surprise. The label tells you everything. It is just in small print on the side of the can, not on the front. Number 8. Whole wheat bread versus wheat bread. There's a difference between bread labeled whole wheat and bread labeled simply wheat. The Food and Drug Administration has a standard of identity for whole wheat bread. To carry that label, the first ingredient must be whole wheat flour. But a loaf labeled wheat bread has no such requirement. It can be made primarily with enriched white flour and still legally be called wheat bread because technically all flour comes from wheat. Some brands also add caramel coloring to white flour bread to make it appear darker, giving the visual impression of a whole grain product without the fiber content of actual whole wheat. The color of bread tells you almost nothing about its nutritional profile. Dark bread can be white flour with coloring. Light-colored bread can be genuinely whole grain. The Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health recommends checking the ingredient list, not the front label and not the color. If the first ingredient says whole wheat flour, you are getting the real thing. If it says enriched wheat flour, you are not, regardless of how brown the bread looks or how many wheat images appear on the packaging. One more tip. If the label says made with whole grains, that phrase has no regulated meaning. It could contain 5% whole grain and 95% refined flour. The first ingredient is what matters. Number 7. Imitation versus pure vanilla extract. The FDA has a standard of identity for vanilla extract, codified in Title 21 of the Code of Federal Regulations, Section 169. Pure vanilla extract must be made from vanilla beans. Imitation vanilla extract uses synthetic vanillin, a compound that replicates the primary flavor molecule in vanilla, but is manufactured rather than extracted from beans. Both are legal. Both are clearly labeled. And for baking, where the vanilla cooks at high heat, many professional bakers say the difference is minimal. But for applications where the vanilla is front and center, like custard, ice cream base, whipped cream, or a simple vanilla glaze, pure vanilla extract delivers a more complex flavor profile because real vanilla contains hundreds of aromatic compounds beyond just vanillin. The price difference is significant. Pure vanilla extract can cost 3 to 4 times more than imitation. But a bottle of pure vanilla extract lasts most households 6 months to a year because you use it a teaspoon at a time. Over a year, the actual cost difference works out to a few dollars. The bottle will tell you. Pure vanilla extract will list vanilla bean extractives and alcohol. Imitation will list water, vanillin, and artificial flavoring. Both labels are honest, but the products inside are fundamentally different. If any of this is useful to you, a quick like helps me get this kind of careful research in front of more households. No pressure, just appreciate you watching. Let us keep going. Number 6, Kraft Singles. The label on a package of Kraft Singles reads pasteurized prepared cheese product. Not cheese, not even cheese food, cheese product. And that specific language is there because the FDA requires it. Here is why. In December of 2002, the FDA sent Kraft a warning because the company had changed its recipe, replacing some non-fat milk with milk protein concentrate, which is not a permitted ingredient under the cheese food standard. Kraft complied by changing the label from pasteurized processed cheese food to pasteurized prepared cheese product. That label has remained ever since. According to FDA standards, Kraft singles contain less than 51% actual cheese. The remaining ingredients include whey, milk protein concentrate, milk fat, sodium phosphate, sorbic acid as a preservative, and other emulsifiers and colorings, including paprika extract for the signature orange hue. None of this is hidden. It is all on the label. But the word product at the end of pasteurized prepared cheese product is doing important legal work that most shoppers walk right past. If you want actual cheese, the ingredient list is your friend. Real cheese, whether it is cheddar, Swiss, or mozzarella, has a short ingredient list. Milk, salt, enzymes, and sometimes annatto for color. 4 or 5 ingredients. When the list runs to 10 or 15 ingredients and includes words like sodium phosphate and milk protein concentrate, you are looking at a processed cheese product. Neither is unsafe, but they are meaningfully different products, and the label tells you which one you are holding. Number 5. Olive oil blends versus extra virgin olive oil. This one requires careful framing because there is a lot of misinformation in both directions. Let me stick to what the research actually shows. In 2010, the UC Davis Olive Center tested imported olive oils labeled extra virgin and found that 69% failed sensory quality standards. That does not mean they were fake. It means they had quality defects, oxidation, or were no longer fresh enough to meet the extra virgin grade. Separately, the FDA tested 88 extra virgin olive oil samples from Washington, D.C. area stores and found no confirmed adulteration. They described the risk of adulteration as low. And in 2024, the North American Olive Oil Association tested 190 samples from top brands and found no adulteration. So the takeaway is nuanced. Outright fraud, mixing olive oil with soybean or sunflower oil, appears to be rare at major U.S. retailers. But quality degradation is more common, and the label language matters enormously. Extra virgin olive oil is a specific grade. Olive oil blend, light olive oil, and pure olive oil are different products with different compositions. Read the label, look for the words extra virgin specifically, and check for a harvest date if one is listed. Number 4, store brand honey. The FDA's most recent testing, published in April of 2026, found that 4% of 102 honey samples contained undeclared sweeteners, things like corn syrup or cane syrup added to honey without appearing on the label. In a previous round of testing in 2021 and 2022, the violation rate for imported honey was 10%. The FDA calls this economically motivated adulteration. It is not a safety risk. Corn syrup in honey will not hurt you, but it is fraud. You paid for honey and received a blend. The FDA's response has been to refuse entry of violative imported products and place them on import alerts. How do you protect yourself? The FDA recommends buying from brands you trust and looking for pure honey or raw honey on the label. Buying from a local beekeeper is another option, and many farmers markets carry locally produced honey where you can talk directly to the person who harvested it. If honey seems unusually cheap for its volume, that lower price may be telling you something about what is actually in the jar. And one more practical check. Real honey will crystallize over time. If your honey has been sitting in the pantry for a year and still looks perfectly clear and liquid, that does not necessarily mean it is fraudulent. But crystallization is one natural indicator that what you have is actual honey and not a syrup blend. Number 3, Tropicana and Minute Maid orange juice. Most consumers assume that not from concentrate orange juice is essentially fresh squeezed juice that was bottled at the Grove. The actual process is more complex than that. After oranges are squeezed, the juice is pasteurized and then stored in large tanks where the oxygen is removed to prevent spoilage. This de-aeration process also strips much of the juice's natural flavor. To restore a consistent taste profile year-round, manufacturers add what the industry calls flavor packs, proprietary blends of orange essence and orange oils. This is not a secret, and it is not illegal. The flavor compounds come from oranges. But the reason every carton of Tropicana tastes exactly the same, whether you buy it in January or August, is not because oranges taste the same year-round. It is because flavor engineering makes it consistent. The label says 100% orange juice, and that is technically accurate. All the components do come from oranges, but the process between the tree and your glass is more industrialized than the pastoral imagery on the carton suggests. The juice that arrives in your refrigerator has been pasteurized, de-aerated, stored in tanks for up to a year, and then re-flavored before packaging. For households that want a simpler product, buying whole oranges and squeezing them yourself is the closest you will get to actual fresh juice. A hand juicer costs $5 to $10 and lasts for years. 6 oranges yield roughly 1 cup of juice. It takes about 3 minutes. The taste difference is noticeable, especially during peak citrus season from December through April. And the ingredient list is 1 item: oranges. Number 2. Breyers frozen dairy dessert. Breyers has been making ice cream since 1866. For most of its history, the ingredient list was short: milk, cream, sugar, vanilla. But in 2013, the company changed the label on several of its most popular flavors, including butter pecan, cookies and cream, chocolate chip cookie dough, and Rocky Road, from ice cream to frozen dairy dessert. The reason is the FDA. Under federal regulations, ice cream must contain a minimum of 10% milk fat. The reformulated Breyers products no longer meet that threshold. They contain less milk fat and more additives, including emulsifiers and stabilizers, that create a smoother texture at a lower production cost. Now, to be fair, Breyers still makes actual ice cream. Their natural vanilla and natural strawberry flavors meet the FDA standard and are labeled as ice cream. The change only affected specific flavors. But if you are in the freezer aisle reaching for a tub that says Breyers, it is worth flipping it over and checking whether the front says ice cream or frozen dairy dessert. They look nearly identical on the shelf. The packaging, the branding, and the price point are often the same. The difference is 2 words on the front of the tub. Why did this happen? Breyers has stated that the reformulation was driven by consumer preferences for smoother texture and lower fat content. Critics, including food journalists and consumer advocates, have pointed out that replacing milk fat with stabilizers and emulsifiers also reduces production costs significantly. Whatever the reason, the label change is permanent, and it tells you exactly what you need to know if you read it. And number 1, pre-grated 100% Parmesan cheese. This is the item that brought the FDA's investigation unit to a cheese factory in rural Pennsylvania, and it is the reason the president of that company faced criminal charges. In 2012, the FDA began investigating Castle Cheese Incorporated after receiving a tip. What they found was striking. Products labeled as 100% grated Parmesan cheese contained no Parmesan cheese at all. Instead, Castle Cheese had been using a mixture of Swiss, mozzarella, white cheddar, and cellulose, a plant-derived anti-clumping agent. The FDA described this practice as lasting for approximately 30 years. Following the FDA's investigation, Bloomberg News conducted independent testing on other grated Parmesan brands sold at major retailers. They found that Walmart's Great Value brand contained 7.8% cellulose. The Essential Everyday brand from Jewel Osco tested at 8.8%. Kraft tested at 3.8%, which falls within the FDA's generally accepted range of 2 to 4%. Cellulose is not dangerous. The FDA considers it safe for consumption. It is derived from plant material and is used as an anti-clumping agent in many processed foods. The issue was never safety. The issue was labeling. When a product says 100% Parmesan and contains no Parmesan, that is fraud. The president of Castle Cheese pleaded guilty to federal criminal charges. The lesson for your pantry is simple. If you want actual Parmesan cheese, buy a wedge of Parmigiano Reggiano and grate it yourself. It costs more per ounce, but you know exactly what you are getting because there is only one ingredient: cheese. A wedge keeps for weeks in the refrigerator wrapped in parchment paper and stored in a loose plastic bag. You can also grate a large amount at once and freeze it in a Ziploc bag. It does not clump when frozen, and it thaws in seconds when sprinkled on hot pasta. That one change, from the shaker to the wedge, eliminates every labeling concern on this item permanently. So here's what these 12 items tell us when you step back and look at the full list. Not one of these companies is breaking the law in most cases. Kraft's label accurately says cheese product. Breyers accurately says frozen dairy dessert. Your bottle of pancake syrup accurately lists corn syrup as the first ingredient. The information is there. It has always been there. The issue is that most of us were never taught how to read a food label the way the FDA writes it. We read the front of the package, where the marketing lives. The FDA's information lives on the side and on the back, in the ingredient list and the nutrition facts panel. Once you know how to read that part, the pantry starts to tell you a different story than the one the packaging shows you. And here's the quiet truth underneath all 12 of these items. The FDA requires ingredients to be listed in descending order by weight. That single rule is the most powerful tool a shopper has. If sugar is the first ingredient, there is more sugar than anything else. If whole wheat flour is the first ingredient, you are getting whole wheat. If corn syrup is the first ingredient and the front says maple flavor, the bottle just told you everything you need to know. You do not need a chemistry degree. You need 30 seconds and the ingredient list. This video is for educational and informational purposes. It is not medical advice, dietary advice, or a recommendation to stop buying any specific product. These companies are, with the exception of Castle Cheese, operating within FDA labeling regulations. The labels are legally accurate. The purpose of this video is to help households understand what those labels actually mean so they can make informed decisions for themselves. No one is trying to hurt you. Labels are legal documents and the language matters. Here is the prescription. On your next grocery trip, pick up 3 items from your pantry before you leave the house. Turn them around, read the ingredient list. Look at the first 3 ingredients, because by FDA regulation, ingredients are listed in descending order by weight. The first ingredient is what there is the most of. If the first ingredient surprises you, now you know. And knowing is the entire point. Let me run through the full list one more time. Number 12, flavored instant oatmeal packets. Number 11, store-brand pancake syrup. Number 10, flavored coffee creamers. Number 9, Campbell's condensed soups. Number 8, whole wheat bread versus wheat bread. Number 7, imitation versus pure vanilla extract. Number 6, Kraft singles. Number 5, olive oil blends. Number 4, store-brand honey. Number 3, Tropicana and Minute Maid orange juice. Number 2, Breyer's frozen dairy dessert. And number 1, pre-grated 100% Parmesan cheese. I am guessing the Parmesan or the ice cream. Which one on this list surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. Take care.